And his daughter makes me laugh because she's like, I like the big gun because it's a symbol of virility, which is hilarious to me because she basically says it makes you look like you have a large penis. That's what that means. I was like, it cracked me up.
Yeah. Dad, it makes you look good. You got a big cock.
They might be. They might be. They might be. They might be. Help! Help us, please! Can't you see? They might be. They might.
Let me know when you hit the record button.
We are currently recording.
Oh,
It's been crew
that
recording
seems like
this
a
whole
lot of
time.
waste. That seems like a lot of wasted airtime.
Never wasted when I'm with you.
All right. On three, say A. One, two, three, A.
Hey.
Good job. Hey, welcome back to They Might Be Werewolves.
Try that again. That was
With your
terrible,
host-
Patrick. Try that again, please. You can do better than that. It's okay to laugh. Try it. Go
All
ahead.
right. Hey, welcome back to They Might Be Werewolves. Your host Patrick and Van.
Much better.
This week we'll be talking about the 1991 Frank Oz picture. What about Bob?
Fantastic movie.
Great, your best choice.
Yeah, it's probably the best movie we watched. I'd say that.
Um,
There's no question about it, Patrick. Every movie we've talked about, I've seen. Well, I kind of remember seeing them, but no, this is the best movie.
okay, we'll
What do you
we'll
got?
come back to that.
What do you got?
We'll put a bit.
What do you got?
Uh,
If you say
I was gonna
Lex, if you say Lex, I'll slap you next time I see you.
I
There's no
was
way.
going to say Last Action Hero, but
Okay.
that's just between you and me.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, production issues got in the way on that one.
So, what about Bob from Frank Oz? You familiar with Frank Oz's filmography?
Patrick, I'm gonna let you answer that question. Do you think I'm
Uh,
comfortable with Frank Oz?
I think you should be. Like, I feel like he's pretty like
I don't know who that
uh
is.
he's he's an American puppeteer alongside Jim Henson. He's the voice of Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear. He was Yoda in the Star Wars movies.
And he directed What About
He
Bob?
Yeah,
Wow, quite the talented
yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm a big fan of his work. I've seen quite a few of his films, from Muppets Take Manhattan to A Death at a Funeral. I've seen quite a bit of Frank Oz.
I have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, you ever seen Blues Brothers?
No.
Oh, I can't help you.
Dude, if you ever ask me, have you seen this? Just go ahead and know. 95% chance I haven't seen it.
Have you seen Trading Places?
No.
All right. Have you seen Muppets Take Manhattan?
No, there's definitely not. I haven't seen that one. No, thank you. I don't like
Uh,
I don't like puppets.
you and I differ greatly on that because I'm a puppet fanatic.
That's so weird.
What's weird about that? A lot of people love puppets.
That's weird.
Everybody loves the Muppets.
No, they don't.
I don't think so.
No,
I
they
think you're in the
don't.
minority on this
No,
one.
they don't, Patrick. Not everyone likes the Muppets.
I think they do. I think you're wrong. Like,
All right. So what's his name? Frank Cox? Was that his name?
Oz.
Okay.
Oz. He's not Dr. Cox from Scrubs. Frank Cox.
I didn't know. All right, Frank Cox. Dude, that just shows you how bad my memory is. I can't even remember the guy's name, and you just told me.
Yeah. Frank Oz.
Oz. Frank.
For the
Cox.
rest of the podcast, he's Frank Cox.
Yeah, Frank Cox. What a great movie about Frank Cox.
Miss Piggy, voiced by Frank Cox.
So who all stars
so
in
let's
this action-packed film, Patrick? List their names.
Well, we got Julie Haggerty.
Okay, you're
Uh,
gonna start in
uh,
reverse, the ones that no one probably are gonna know. Okay, let's see
yeah.
how we're doing it. Continue. Keep going.
Catherine Irby, uh, Little Corsmo? Is it Christopher Corsmo?
I don't.
Charlie Cor-
I have no
Charlie
idea.
Corsmo.
Is that Sigmund?
That's little Siggy. Uh, Reggie Cathy, Joan Lunden, uh, Susan Willis, and Tom Aldridge.
Okay, let's get to the big two here. Okay.
uh,
The main carriers of the movie.
a little known actor by the name of Bill Murray is in this film, and another little known actor known as Richard Dreyfuss is in this film.
I think I've only seen him in
Eh.
that shark movie.
Jaws,
That's it.
Jaws,
Yeah, I've seen him in
the
Jaws.
shark, the shark movie.
Yeah. That's what it is. The shark movie.
Maybe the most important movie of the last 50 years.
Well, that's the only other movie I've seen Richard Dreyfuss in.
All right, let's get into it then.
All right.
How's our movie open, Van?
What is it?
How's our movie open?
Oh, the movie opens with Bob, who is Bill Murray, sitting in his his room. What is he chanting? I'm trying to remember what he's chanting. I feel great. I feel wonderful, or something.
Yeah.
He's just constantly rubbing his head, saying, "I feel great. I feel wonderful."
So, like, if you guys haven't seen this movie, Bill Murray starts this film as the most neurotic human being ever put to camera.
Yeah, it's his best film. I think it's his best film.
It's in there. Like my favorite Bill Murray movie is Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like Groundhog Day.
Like there's something about him and a groundhog at the wheel of a truck about to drive off a cliff that gets me every time.
In this movie, he just plays such a good crazy person.
Yeah,
He pretty much suffers from everything that you can think of. He has it in this movie.
but I don't ever know if he actually suffers from any of it,
Or if it's
he's
all just
the worst.
like a fake.
Yeah, like is he conning people or is he not? Like, does he believe he's actually sick or is he's like like he says a psychopath, like a narcissistic whatever he said, a con man.
Yeah, like this movie could have easily been like a horror film or a thriller.
Yeah, easily. Because they remake this movie. They don't remake this movie exactly, but they make a similar movie like this later in the '90s with Jim Carrey called The Cable Guy.
Right. That was a good one.
Yeah, like it's a very similar movie about this guy who like just happens upon this like neurotic psychopath, and that guy slowly destroys his life by trying to be like a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we start in New York City. Bob has been handed off to his new psychiatrist, uh, Richard Dreyfuss's Leo Marvin.
Yep. Dr. Leo Marvin.
Leo, you can call me Leo. And yeah, he's been handed off to Bob. Bob's been handed off to Leo Marvin by his psychiatrist who's getting out of town
Yeah.
because Bob has driven him crazy.
Who driven him crazy. And you gotta tell, like, the first time you watch it, you're like, because the guy is obviously, he's he's scared or something. He's like, get this guy away from me. You can just tell there's something up. This is the first time you watch it. Because he's like, because he asked him, is there something wrong with him? Is he crazy? God, no. Why would you think that?
Why would you possibly think that?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm like quitting my business. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm closing up shop.
I think this movie does a great job of like making you feel neurotic in the beginning of the film.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm like, the whole time they're in New York, I'm like, I need to get out of the city. I'm not even in the place, and it's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, because that one scene when he like it's like one of the first scenes when he walks out of the his apartment. It's all quiet, and as soon as he opens the door, it's just loud noises everywhere.
Yeah, people like rudely like
everywhere.
So Richard Dreyfuss is occupied by he's in his office, he's getting ready to go on vacation. He's setting up for his new book that he's written, Baby Steps. He gets this call from his colleague about his new patient. He's like, all right, I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell, and it establishes his character early because he tells him that like Leo Marvin could win he's like capable of winning like the Peace Prize or whatever. And
Yeah.
you could tell it's his ego. Like you could appeal to this guy's ego, but like
Yeah.
that's how he suckers him in.
Right.
And now, so this movie is a comedy,
Yeah. Very much.
but like Leo Marvin does not deserve anything that happens to him in this film.
That has what?
He doesn't deserve any of this.
No, not at all. None of it.
Yeah,
It's a classic, like one of those movies that like we've watched where it's like they make him out to be the bad guy, but he has
yeah,
every right to how he feels in the
yeah.
movie.
I love that. I always like. Was it
Something
what was that
about
stupid
'90s
truck movie?
movies. It's
Yeah,
over the top where the grandpa was
yeah.
like, he was like, "Why are you sending this boy with his dad he's never met?" Valid concern.
He, he doesn't have a house. He lives in a truck.
Valid concern.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's something about '90s movies or something that they were just like that. Like
yeah,
the villains were like, if you actually rationally think about it, they're not that bad. They're the ones that are like, they're the good guy.
yeah. He has every right. He's actually really understanding and like kind for.
Extremely, way more than I would be.
Yeah, I would have shot Bob at some point.
He would be dead.
Yeah. So Bob goes there. Leo's not expecting him the first day, which should have been a red flag.
Right, because I think he was like, hey, called his receptionist, hey, set something up for a Bob Wiley for after vacation, and she's like, he's already called 10 times. He's your next
Yeah,
appointment.
he's in the lobby,
Right.
and he goes persistent.
Exactly.
We'll get a little bit of foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob goes to sit down to him. And he starts like doing like a overall interview about his issues,
Like everything he
and
suffers from, yeah.
yeah, which is just a bunch of neurotic nonsense.
Cold sweats. What if I have to get to the bathroom and I can't make it? What if my bladder
What if my
explodes?
bladder explodes?
Exactly.
He's like, what if like random onset Tourette's syndrome?
Yeah. Fingernail sensitivity. Like just stupid stuff. He just Bill Murray being Bill Murray. Like all that had to be just
Yeah,
on the spot.
yeah. They just told Bill you have a
Just
bunch of neurotic
just say
neuroses.
whatever
Yeah,
comes to your mind. And it's just Bill Murray being Bill Murray.
and it works
Exactly. I don't think you can
because
make this movie. I don't think you can make this movie now with a different actor. Like he's perfect for this role.
yeah, he's also the sweatiest human being I've ever seen in my life, and he's never actually sweating.
Right.
He's always got that wild, like crazy hair.
Dude, he has
That
wild hair.
yeah, that looks like he's a troll doll from the '90s. Like, I love when he's talking about why he got a divorce,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Why do you think your wife? Why do you think you got a divorce?" He goes, "There's two people in this world, Doc. People who love Neil Diamond and those who don't." And she really loved Neil Diamond.
She really loved Neil Diamond. And then he's like, "So you're telling me you left your wife because she loves Neil Diamond?" Then it goes on to say, "No, I think she left you."
You crazy son of a bitch. Like, are you saying that there's a possibility she left me?
Right.
And then he introduces Bob to his new pop psychology book, Baby Steps.
Yeah, that's such a funny scene too, because like he walks over to the bookshelf and he's like, "There's a new groundbreaking book out. You might have heard of it." He's looking for it. They're all the same book on the bookshelf. He's like, "Oh, here it is." It's his personal book.
I like how he pulls it out and poses with it for a second.
Exactly.
He's pretty, like, trying to think of the word that's not quite. He's pretty pretentious as a person.
Yeah.
Like, he names his son Sigmund. Like,
Right.
he's like,
Exactly.
he's just a pretentious. But he's, yet again, I'm going to lay down the fact, does not deserve the next hour.
Doesn't. What happens to him? Nothing that he did. He deserve it.
So he's like, they get through their interview, and he's like, all right. Well, I will take over your therapy in a month when I get back from vacation, when Labor Day comes. He's like, Labor Day? Like, where are you? I gotta be here 4 times a week.
Right. Yeah. That's a month away.
Yeah. And he's like, it's all right. I'll recommend you to a colleague. And this is where the 1990s thriller aspect of this movie kicks in real hard. Because the next 10 minutes are the most like
Yeah, it's just crazy.
serial killer stalker nonsense I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So he's baby stepping out of the office because that's
He literally he's literally taking it word for word. He's just saying baby steps. So he's taking literally baby steps.
Yeah. Baby steps out of the office.
Baby
steps down the hallway.
Yeah. Exactly.
Baby steps into the elevator. I like actually there's one more scene in The Office I want to talk about because it makes me laugh. It's like the funniest joke in that office where he's like they go up to the pictures of his family.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that must be Susan and little Richard and little Maggie.
And Dorothy.
Like, yeah, those are not my family's names.
Right. That is not it.
It's just funny how like deadpan he delivers that.
Yeah, exactly.
Richard Dreyfuss goes on vacation with his family up into a lake in New Hampshire.
Lake Winnipesaukee?
Is it Winnipesaukee?
Yeah. Is that how you say it?
I don't think it's Winnipesaukee.
How do you say it?
Now that you've said it, I can't remember how to say it, but I know it's not what you said.
Winnipesaukee? That ain't it? That is how you say it.
I thought it started with a P.
It starts with a W, bro. And you're an English guy.
I think, yeah, that's not English though.
Yeah, like writing and reading.
No, but that word is not English. That word's probably Iroquois.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Did you just?
No, you saw that. Yeah, I did that gesture. Yeah, I did do that. Yeah.
Okay. What were we talking about? All right, Bill Murray.
Yeah, he's going. Dreyfuss is on vacation in Winnipesaukee.
Yeah. And keep going. You got it. You're strong.
I don't think I am,
You're
Patrick.
strong.
People don't want to hear me talk. They want to hear your Patrick voice.
You want to hear my nasally like?
Yeah, nerdy.
Really,
just. Well, that's just what happened.
yeah, but you have the dulcet, cool tones people like to listen to when they're trying to nap and listening to our podcast.
Right. So it goes on to with Bob obviously going crazy because he can't see a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And this is, mind you, probably this next day. So he is just going wild. He's calling. He ended up calling a hotline, right?
It's like a
I don't know what would you call that?
Message board or whatever that like.
Okay, yeah. So it's attached to his company, I guess.
I imagine it's the building, but I'm not.
Right. Well, anyway, he's calling this to try to get in contact with him, and they're like, oh, he's on vacation. You can't talk to him. I can get you in contact with his associate. And, and so he's like, well, you can call him on the other line, right? And I could talk to him. So she did.
Yeah, you just call him and tell him I'm on the line, right?
Mm-hmm. So they did that.
And he's like, so let's reenact this scene. You'll be Leo Marvin.
I don't know what he said. I don't know.
Just say, hello? Who is this?
Hello? Who is this?
Dr. Leo. How are the kids doing up there? And
Bob! Bob Wiley! I am on vacation.
That's basically how every conversation goes.
This is unacceptable, Bob!
Yeah, but I'm just trying to. You're up there in Fire Island, right?
You want to keep Maine all to yourself?
Trying to like suss out where he's at.
Yeah.
And he hangs up on him. And mind you, he's still being patient. He's like, Bob, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. He's not overreacting. He's like, I get it. I know that I'm on vacation. Your province don't stop or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a month.
He's actually a really good psychiatrist, and he's lucky to have him.
Exactly.
Hangs up the phone. Bob decides the next best step is to get a hooker to pretend to be Leo's sister
Oh yeah.
and call
Yeah, and say it was an emergency. Yep.
and say it was an emergency. And like Leo gets a phone call and says, Mr. Dr. Marvin, your sister's on the line. She says it's an emergency. Really? Put her on the line.
Yeah.
And Bob immediately goes, Dr. Marvin, don't be angry. I know this wasn't smart ideas.
Don't be angry. Crazy.
Bob, yeah, crazy. And my favorite part is when they hang up the phone on each other. He's like, "That wasn't smart. That wasn't smart. I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't smart."
That was not a good idea. And then the next one, he goes up to the place, to the call center,
Yeah,
and he
pretending to be a detective.
pretends to be a detective, yes, and says that Bob has killed himself.
He fakes suicide.
All the while to just get in there to find out where he is located.
And it succeeds.
It does. He finds out he's in Lake Winnipesaukee.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And
Which I don't think it was actually filmed in New Hampshire.
where was it filmed?
I think it was filmed. I don't know. I figured you would know. To be honest with you.
You should have coordinated with me on that before we got on there.
I thought you would have. You would have done. You would
We need to coordinate. Yeah, we need to coordinate with that beforehand.
have. Sorry. I thought you had it ready. I thought
It was a beautiful move. It was elegant, great. I just dropped the ball because I wasn't expecting the hand.
I thought you had it, dude. My bad. I won't set you up like that again.
So this is a good time to introduce the rest of the cast, which is just Leo's family. Um, his wife is played by Julia Haggerty. Most people would know Julia Haggerty from the Zucker Brothers movie Airplane.
Who's that? His wife?
Yeah,
Okay.
you ever seen Airplane?
It says it was filmed in Virginia.
Sounds about right. It looks pretty.
Smith Mountain Lake, Patrick.
Yeah, I read something about the trees being the wrong type of trees for New Hampshire.
Yeah,
But
never set right with me.
No, it didn't look like no New Hampshire to me.
I've
It looked
never
like a Virginia lake to me.
exactly. I've been to Virginia. I've never been to New Hampshire. Sorry.
Yeah, so Julia Haggerty. No, you're good. Julia New Hampshire. Julia Haggerty would be best known from the Airplane movies. She was the female love interest in those. Then you have his daughter Anna, played by Catherine Erb.
I've seen
who
her in a
most-
couple movies. She's pretty famous.
She's in Law and Order.
Okay, I haven't seen
She's
that.
that'd be probably the biggest thing she's done since, but I haven't seen her in any other movies.
Fair enough.
She's in the one with Vincent D'Onofrio, the Criminal Minds or whatever.
Patrick, you realize when you say these actors' names, I don't know them.
It's fine. I'm not saying them just for you.
Okay, but you're talking to me. No.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking to you as a proxy for the listener,
Gotcha.
as well as talking to you. And I'm trying to educate you. Vincent D'Onofrio, also known as Kingpin from the Marvel TV series Daredevil. And then we get little Charlie Korsmo, who plays Sigmund.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do a lot in movies, but he's in Dick Tracy the year before, and he would be in Hook the same year, playing a similar character who does not like his dad, so he runs off with a crazy person who he likes more.
Right. I've seen him in a movie that I used to watch a lot. I think it was Can't Hardly Wait. Was the movie?
I've never seen that. Is it any good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I used to watch it a lot.
Can't hardly wait.
He's in that, right?
Yeah, he is. You're
Suck that, Patrick.
7-year difference between his performance in Hook and Can't Hardly Wait, though, which I think is an interesting story we'll have to get into. Oh, I've seen Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah, you had to see it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's like what every
That's,
90s or every
Yeah, that's at
parody.
I think it was a little too early to be famous. Like,
it's like one of those. It's like
it was
what?
right
Yeah,
before
because it's like
American
what?
Pie. And
It's what all those movies were like based off of, kind of, sort of, that came up after it.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
yeah,
Euro Trip and stuff like that.
yeah, stuff like that. They're all based off that kind of same feel vibe.
Yeah, I've seen Counterweight. I didn't realize he was in that. Look at that.
Oh,
Patrick sucks it.
Patrick sucks it big time. We need a bell. We need a bell that can ding 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 ding.
Patrick sucks it, Bill.
Yeah, I got one.
Jingle the bells.
1 point for me.
Do-do-do-do.
David versus Goliath.
You're like 5 inches taller than I am.
Yeah, but when it comes to this trivia stuff, you got me beat.
Yeah, so that's the family.
Mhm.
They don't openly dislike their dad, but they have the standard movie dislike for their dad,
Yeah,
where none of it's really justified.
right. He's a
It's
great.
just like,
He seems like an all around great dad. Just wants them all to succeed.
yeah,
Again, just
nope.
he seems like the good guy if you think about
Yeah.
it.
He's spending all summer trying to teach his son how to dive and he just doesn't know how to go about it without being a psychiatrist,
Right.
but he's doing his best. He's literally spending as much time with his kids as he can while trying to set up this interview, like this Good Morning America interview about his book.
Mm.
He's like, listen, I got a lot to do, but your diving is super important to me
Right.
because I want you to overcome this death fixation you have.
He's juggling. He's juggling a lot, and he's still making time for his kid. That's a good dad.
Yeah. And guess who shows up in New Hampshire to make him look even worse?
Yep. Bob Wiley. They're out grocery shopping. And Bob gets off the bus and just starts screaming, Dr. Leo Marvin. He just starts screaming his name in the middle of the street. Just starts screaming, Dr. Marvin. It just so happens he happens to be there.
It always works. His craziest ideas always work.
Yeah. And
I'm just gonna get off the bus and start screaming his name. That's my plan.
And Dr. Marvin saw him, and he said, "Everyone get in the car."
There's a crazy man in the street.
Then I would have left immediately.
Yeah, but he decides to go confront the guy who traveled 3 states to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he's like, "Listen, Bob, if you promise to go home, I will call you at this diner at 2:00."
Mm-hmm.
So he sends him to a diner and drives off. At the diner, there's this elderly couple who own the diner, and he's like, because he's pacing back and forth, because he's got a fish in a jar around his neck, his pet Gil.
Gil. Good morning, Gil.
He's like, I need a pitcher of water. So he dumps his fish in a pitcher of water, tap water.
Yeah.
That fish is dead.
Probably.
You need oxygen circulating in water to keep it alive. You can't put one around your neck to.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Yeah. So the Gutmans, the older elderly couple, hate Dr. Leo because he bought their dream house from under them.
Beautiful house.
And Leo had every right to buy it.
Again, he did. He
had the money. He liked it. He bought it. Some old German couple didn't have dibs on it.
Right.
The Gutmans are like, he doesn't want to see you. We can take you where he lives.
You will?
So what are the odds of that?
So, what did they do? They took him to the house.
So he starts. He meets the family. He starts flattering the wife and the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "There's no. Oh, this guy's real sociable and nice." And Leo's like, freaking out because he's like,
"Am I the only one crazy? Am I the only one feeling this way? This guy came from New York. He followed me here. I've met him once.
He's my mental patient. He's like literally my patient."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, he seems nice and harmless." So he's meeting the family. He gets on. He's like, Leo Marvin's like, "Listen, Bob, you see what all this around you is? This is a vacation. So I'm gonna prescribe you something. He's like, I got enough prescriptions.
Right. I got enough pills.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna prescribe you a vacation from your problems. And he does.
He does.
Like, he's like, go on vacation, Bob. So Bob's like, that's a great idea. I'll go on vacation. Guess where he goes on vacation?
Lake Winnipesaukee.
He's like, hey.
Lake Winnipesaukee.
I like because the next morning he shows up and goes, hey guys, I'm on vacation. I'm a little worried because I don't know how to get food, but I'm staying at the Gutman's.
Yeah. He's like, I love it because he's like, what did he say? How did he say? He said, Bob, you're still here. He's like, no, I'm not. He's like, you're not? No, I'm on vacation.
And he's got a shirt on, a big bright blue, like baby shirt.
Yeah.
That says,
don't hassle me. I'm local.
it's like a great shirt.
It is. I think I had it at one point. You okay?
Yeah, I was thinking of where we are on the plot.
Looked like you were having a seizure for a second. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay.
You were just going. I was just like, looked like he got plugged into the Matrix for a second. He was downloading a new chip.
I like that. He's trying to set up the Leo's trying to set up his house for the interview the next day.
Yeah.
Like that's like they like, what do you guys think of this? And he's got a giant gun on the wall, and they switches it out with like a Sigmund Freud head. And his daughter makes me laugh because she's like, I like the big gun because it's a symbol of virility, which is hilarious to me because she basically says it makes you look like you have a large penis. That's what that means. I was like, it cracked
me. Coming from your daughter, that's nice, I guess. Yeah. Dad, it makes you look good. You got a big cock.
Frank Cox.
And this movie was directed by Frank Cox.
So Bob takes off. He's walking down the road.
Mm-hmm.
He's just walking. Bill Murray. This is one Bill Murray's bet. I think this is a complete ad lib because it's like a long shot on Bill Murray just walking down the road. He's like, "There's nobody around. There's nobody around." Then he realizes there's nobody around. He's like, "Oh God, there's nobody around." He starts running down the street,
fucking panicking. Yeah, panicking, running side to side, zagging. Yeah,
like he's running from an alligator. And the daughter's coming down the street in the station wagon because she's gonna go sailing with some friends. She sees him running like a crazy person. And she pulls over and she's like, where are you going? He's like, I was just going back to the Gutmans. He's like, you want to come with me and my friend sailing? He's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And like they're talking and they're getting to know each other. And he's like listening to her problems.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like giving her advice and like being open and friendly and listening. And then, so you want to go sailing? And they go sailing and cut to Bob strapped to a mast of a sailboat.
He's fucking
screaming, I'm sailing.
He's chained to it. Like he's tied down. I sail. I'm a sailor.
And Leo Arvin's just like at the dock watching. Anna.
You sound just like him. Anna.
What did I say about hanging out with Bill Mallory?
Bill Mallory. That goes right along with Frank Cox.
Yeah. Bob Malley. What's his last name? Bob
Murray.
Wiley. Bill Murray. Bob Wiley.
Oh, Bob Wiley. Bob.
Yeah.
And it's like, mind you, like, and yeah, they have a like heart to heart or something. She's like, you can't be hanging out with Bob. And she's like, well,
and
Bob.
Right.
And he's like, Bob's fun. I'm like, you've known him for 30 minutes.
All you did was strap him to your very understanding friend's sailboat.
Right?
Like if some chick came to me and was like, "Hey, can we this I met this guy like half an hour ago and he's kind of my dad's psychiatric patient. Can we like take him sailing with us? He needs to be strapped to the mast. Is that okay?" No. No, it is not.
It's not okay. You're saying he's
You know,
psychotic?
yeah, like what's going on here? Are you okay? But we never get that conversation.
No, we don't. We just make it look like Richard Dreyfuss is going crazy.
Yeah. And he's like walking with his daughter and they're like, "Leave the car." And that's a major plot point
It is a very
because
major
they're gonna
plot
walk
point.
because they're gonna walk home.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like talking to her, he's like, "You gotta stop and talk to me." So he pulls out a puppet out of his pocket.
And this is probably one of your favorite parts of the movie, right?
No, it just
Because it's a puppet.
what?
You love puppets.
Of course.
Ah,
I didn't even think about Frank Cox and the puppets.
Puppet Man.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that.
Ding, ding, ding. Ring the bell. I
Ooh.
got two.
And they have a conversation with the
The puppet.
puppets.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, she says he's fun.
Yeah.
And this struck a chord with me
Yeah. And what's
because
that?
I'm the completely normal guy who's not very fun.
Okay.
So like I spent this whole movie like sympathizing with Leo Marvin.
Yeah, I
Like
can
I
see that.
understand this guy.
I can
Like
see that. I can see that.
yeah. It's like I'm sort of fun.
Yeah, that's
Why
you.
does my whole family like this crazy person?
That's Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick's Dr. Marvin.
Yeah. So I was like growing more and more attached to Leo Marvin as he goes crazier and crazier. I was rooting for him to kill Bob by the end of the film again. So I was like Bob too. He's like, "Did you see me? I was sailing. I was sailing like on the water. I was sailing."
Way out there, away from the dock on the boat.
The next thing, he helps his son learn how to dive. He usurps Dreyfuss's son's diving.
Who's that, Bob?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bob shows up at the house later the day.
Again,
Is it the same day? I don't know. It was a
it's the
different day.
same. I don't think it's the same day. I think because the next day is the interview with Good Morning America
Okay.
about his book.
Yeah.
That's yeah, and he's talking to Ziggy while Leo Marvin's talking to his wife inside. And he teaches Ziggy how to dive, which Leo Marvin can't do the whole time. And it's like the big, like dramatic scene there.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo's like, "Thank you, Bob. Thank you." He runs down to the dock and he accidentally or
Excellent.
intentionally pushes Bob into the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where his whole family starts to get like actually turn on him.
Yeah, he starts becoming the bad guy
Yeah,
because everyone loves Bob.
they're growing to really like him now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it gets even more serial killery because they invite him to come to his house for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like eating dinner and he's making those weird like
Every bite of chicken he takes, he's just going mmm. Mmm. It's literally like a solid minute of Bill Murray just going mmm. 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 Every bite. And then Leo is the only one that snaps. Will you stop that?
Why are you doing that?
And then that leads to at one point I guess somebody asked for salt or something or pepper. I can't exactly remember. Somebody was asking for something, and then Leo went in the kitchen to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Bob says that, like, just think of like how many people like me the book could help.
yeah,
And Leo starts to choke on his
because he's laughing. He's like that.
yeah. So he starts choking on a piece of chicken, and Bob goes to give the Heimlich maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of giving the Heimlich maneuver, he puts him on the couch. And he starts doing like elbow drops to his back.
He starts doing fucking wrestling moves.
Yeah.
Fucking, he watched some Hogan moves. He's just going up the top rope.
It starts storming late at night, so Bob can't walk home, and the car's been left at the dock because he asked him to. And so he's like, I guess he's got to spend the night.
Yeah. He can borrow my slicker. There's so
Why
many.
do they? Who would put him in the boys' room?
Or
That's what threw me off.
where
I
else would
was
he put
like,
him? With a girl or on the
in
couch?
the
I
living
guess.
room on a couch. Yeah, the couch seemed like the most
Well,
appropriate.
well, I think maybe they didn't want him on the couch because Good Morning America was coming at 7.
Yeah.
They probably didn't want him anywhere near sight in case they came in. The only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I mean that might make logical sense. I think.
But yeah,
I don't know.
you already know this guy's crazy. He's followed you 3 states, a couple states away. You gonna put him in your son's room?
Yeah,
Yeah, people die
and
like that.
yeah, this whole family.
Could have easily
If I
just
were real,
could have easily just turned into a could have easily turned into a just a murder mystery
yeah.
story.
If I were Leo Marvin, I wouldn't have slept. I would have been outside of his door staring. So he's like, "You gotta be out of here by 7 o'clock in the morning."
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to wake Bob up, and he next morning wakes up Bob, kicks him out. The news crew for Morning America shows up,
And Bob's there.
and Bob's there, and they're like, "What a great idea, Dr. Leo Marvin! Having a patient of the Baby Steps program here to do the interview with you, brilliant."
No, that's not a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea.
Are you sure? It sounds like a great idea to us. Let's everybody move over here away from the fireplace.
All right.
Not away from the fireplace. And Bob basically hijacks the interview.
Yeah, he does. He takes over full control.
Yeah, he becomes the star of the show.
Mm-hmm. And everyone,
Well, Leo is
Leo,
like, I can't. It's not supposed to work this fast.
right?
And Bob's like, I can only like think of like 2 or 3 names that like Dr. Leo Marvin to Mother Teresa of Calcutta.
And like
Over the top
Leo,
awkward.
absolutely, like Dr. Marvin actually bombed this interview. Like every question they asked him, he was just stumbling, and he actually called Bob boob at one point.
Well, it's understandable. Like your patient, like you've been thrown for a complete 180.
Yeah,
They have their interview. Bob's a success, and Leo is about to snap.
he's on the verge of losing it.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of I think there's a real like there was real life tension between Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray because I was listening to Richard Dreyfuss talk in an interview about this movie, and he's like, apparently he called Bill Murray would get drunk and like get in his face about stuff. He called him like a Irish drunken idiot, Irish drunken bully. Like,
I could see that. I've heard a lot of like how much I love Bill Murray. I've heard a lot about how he is on set and just bad.
yeah,
I've heard a lot of
I can
stuff
see
about
it
that.
because he seems like a real ass.
He seems like he's like one of those people. Like he's obviously funny, but he seems like it got to him.
Yeah, like I think he's funny because he's an ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's like got that Chevy Chase vibe about him, where Chevy Chase was funny because he's an ass.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like there's a real tension, and you can feel it in the movie. Like I don't think these two really like each other.
They do. I think at this point, it starts to show.
Yeah, so he's like, "I'm sorry, everybody. I had a blow up. Bob, would you come with me in the car, please?"
Yeah.
He takes him to a psychiatric hospital nearby,
Tries to
and
institutionalize them.
yeah, he hasn't committed for a day. And the doctor there's like, Leo, we can't do it unless staff agrees. We can only hold him for 24 hours. He's like, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Exactly. He's losing it at this point.
Yeah, he's going bananas. So he drives back home, and he gets a phone call from the psychiatric place, and he's like, "What? No, no, no!"
Yeah.
He's
Son of a bitch.
pure Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
He's running out of the house, and his wife yells, "Where's Bob?
What about
Leo,
Bob?
what about Bob?"
Yep.
And I went, "She did the thing. She did the thing."
The thing. The title.
Yeah. So you cut to Leo showing back up at the sanitarium or the psychiatric hospital. And Bob's cutting jokes in front of all the staff and you just tell him, just
Just
like
has
he's
it.
got him in the palm of his
It's
hand.
got everyone loving it. And this is where you start thinking that I don't think he's actually crazy.
No, I don't know what he is. Like, I
Like,
don't
what is
know
it
what he's
like?
manipulative.
Exactly. Like you look at it, it's like he's not like I don't think there's anything wrong with him. Like I feel like
Yeah.
he like it's all a ruse.
He picks up Bob and he just starts driving back, right? And doesn't he kick him out at the side of the road?
Yeah, he kicks him out of the side of the road, told him to get out, and it's
Yeah.
and it's so and it's so funny because at that point he starts speeding or something, and he gets pulled over by a cop, and then as he's pulled over, you see Bob coming by in another car that someone obviously hitchhiked, and he told the officer, "I need him home by 7 or something."
Yeah. And he needs him home by 7 because it's Dr. Leo Marvin's surprise birthday party.
Yeah, which he doesn't know
But
about,
Leo
obviously.
blows a tire, so he falls in the mud at some point.
Yeah, he gets splashed with mud. Yeah, it looks like crap. Yep.
Yeah. And he gets to the party and they're like the lights are on him and all his friends are in the backyard and they like put like a high beam on his face.
And he's covered in dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, Leo, are you okay? It's like, yeah, yeah. And they're like, we got a surprise for you. Your sister Lily's here.
And as soon as he sends Lily, he's so happy to see his sister. Then what happens? Bob comes in and just
Bob.
puts his hand on her shoulder and says, "Dr. Marvin."
My boy, happy birthday. Here to celebrate my birthday.
Then that leads Dr. Marvin to jump off his porch and attack Bob.
Get your hands off my sister.
He just dumps right off his porch and attacks Bob.
Like Leo's like basically almost catatonic at this point. Like one of his psychiatrist friends have like looked after him and prescribed him pills. And like
So,
Bob's like, "Are you sure those are the right pills to prescribe him in this situation? I recommend because Bob's had so many pills, he's like super familiar with what they need."
yeah, exactly. They ended up changing the prescription based on what he said. He's like, "I think you might be right."
Yeah,
It's a brilliant movie.
it is a brilliant movie because it like 180s the whole thing. Like it just reverses who's who by the end of it.
Yep.
And this is where my favorite part of the movie when Richard Dreyfuss goes full like I'm gonna kill Bob mode.
Yeah, he just yeah, he's like the guy, that one little cartoon character from Bugs Bunny. He's trying to kill the bunny. He's just he's on full throttle.
And he breaks into a sporting goods store that has he's like, how do I kill him?
Yeah.
How do I kill him? Too messy. He's got like a hook and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, he settles on blowing him up with some black powder.
Like 20 pounds of explosives.
And he's like, Bob, I'm gonna show you a new therapy, Bob. Come with me into the woods. He's like, all right, Dr. Mark. And he straps him with like 20 pounds of black powder. He goes, Bob, this is death therapy, Bob. This is gonna solve all your problems. You're gonna die, Bob.
So fucking funny. And he ties him up with that explosive. It's so funny.
He's like, just stay here and think about your problems in this wood. And Leo takes off, and Bob's sitting in the woods, strapped, like he starts to work it out. He's like, if I don't do something about these knots, and these knots are my problems, I'm going to die.
Right.
I gotta untie these knots. Brilliant.
Then he starts doing baby steps. He starts like going back to baby steps to untie the knots.
Yeah.
You're a genius, Dr. Marvin.
Dr. Marvin. Cut to Leo back at his dock. And his family's like, "Oh, we're missing you, Leo. Where'd you go?" And they're like hugging him. He's like, "Everything's fine now. You should hear the boom here soon." Dr. Leo Marvin. You hear
Here comes Bob.
starts singing. Yep, he's got the cake.
He's got his cake. Yep, singing happy birthday or whatever.
He's like, Bob, where'd you leave the bomb? Oh, I left it inside. Kept their house exploding.
Classic.
And how's the film end, Van?
It ends with Bob's character marrying his sister, marrying not Bob's sister, but marrying Leo's sister, Lily, and
Yeah.
and Dr. Leo Marvin is non-vocal,
He's catatonic in a wheelchair.
and he's in a wheelchair. Yeah, and as soon as they say "I do," he stands up. No.
And that's how the film ends.
Yeah.
With a little text that says Bob Wiley went on to become a psychiatrist and to write a best-selling novel called Death Therapy.
And I think it said that at the end, if I remember correctly, that Leo's suing him for the rights. That's so funny. A great movie.
It is a fantastic movie.
It's one
I
of those movies
recommend that.
Like, if you haven't seen this movie, you've got to watch this movie. I don't know who's listening.
Yeah.
All the millions and millions of fans. You got to watch it.
Finally, we've come back to the podcast.
You've got to go watch this movie.
Yeah. It's probably my second favorite Richard Dreyfuss movie.
Right.
And it's probably my top 5 Bill Murray movie.
Bill Murray's got a lot of good movies. It's hard to...
Scrooged.
Scrooge. Was that one movie, that military movie, Stripes? Is it Stripes?
Stripes.
That's a
Meatballs.
Great movie.
Ghostbusters,
obviously. Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day. His later movies, like with Wes Anderson, like The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Yeah. He's actually got a pretty successful golf company as well.
Does he? Doesn't he kind of like wander the earth now? Like taking pictures with people?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know. I do buy some of the clothes though. The outfits are kind of cool. It's just their logo is, you look it up, it's Bill Murray tossing a club.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just like a little outline of him just throwing a club.
Well, I know like Caddyshack was like the golf movie he was in.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he and his brothers golf.
Yeah.
And they all, like, there's a good portion of them that are in acting too. Like,
I don't
were
know
talking about
any of their brothers. His brothers. Who's his brothers?
Yeah, Brian Doyle Murphy and who? Have you ever seen The Burbs?
No.
God damn it! I'm trying to think of like what you would have seen him in.
Probably nothing, Patrick.
Joel Murphy. You ever seen Dharma and Greg?
No.
Oh, give me a second.
Just stop. I'm not gonna find any more.
There's something he's in. You've seen.
Okay, yeah, I know. I looked him up. I know who he is. He was in.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who he is. That's his brother.
Yeah, Brian Doyle Murphy and his other brother Joel. Yeah, and Richard Dreyfuss, whose best movie is Jaws. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't know any other movie he's in.
Hey, Richard Dreyfuss, he's in a bunch of stuff. He got real big with he became buddies with George Lucas and Spielberg. So he's in American Graffiti and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and I think the last thing I saw him in was Piranha 3D, where he's eating at the beginning of the movie.
The movies you watch, Patrick, just...
I watch a lot of garbage.
Yeah, you do. Let's go ahead and hear it. So, obviously, we think this movie's great. It's one of the best ones we've watched. What stupid movie do you have next, Patrick? I picked this one. Let's see what you're gonna try to...
We either do one movie, we switch off on each other, where we can either do my favorite Jet Li movie, or we could start a series where we do 3 similar movies in a row, which I have an idea for.
Okay, what's your favorite? Well, let's walk through both of the outcomes here. What's the Jet Li movie?
Unleashed.
Okay.
And it's got Bob Hoskins and Morgan Freeman in it.
I don't know if I've seen that.
It's good. Can we go through the plot?
No. No thanks. No thanks.
Okay. Or we can start the series of movies.
And if it's that thing or the washing mat movie or the laundry mat movie, I'm just gonna stop it.
We're gonna save the Mangler for another time.
We're never gonna watch that movie, Patrick. I'll
We're
just be
gonna watch
there.
the
I'll
Mangler.
just be there. I'm not gonna watch that movie.
Come on, bro. Watch the Mangler.
All right. So what's the list of movies?
I want to do a 90s Los Angeles earthquake film series where it's the basis of the movies is basically Los Angeles has become a horrible place to live because of a you son of a because an earthquake has struck Los Angeles and basically turned into a chaotic neutral zone. So we would start with Escape from LA, then Double Dragon, and then Demolition Man.
What's Escape from L.A.? Is that
That's
Kurt Russell?
yeah,
And Double Dragon, is that karate movie
yeah,
with the really stupid handshake
yeah.
that I
That
used
you
to
did a lot as a
that
kid.
I used to do a lot as a kid? Dude, that was a terrible movie. I love that movie though. What was the third
Yeah.
one?
Demolition Man with Stallone.
Ooh, dude, those three sound like hitters. I, th-
The earthquake movie series.
I think we need to do those. Yeah, I like
All
that
right,
idea. I like
so
that idea.
yeah, sounds good. Sounds like we're starting the earthquake series next week, guys.
And which one?
Next time, guys.
What are we starting with? Which one?
Uh, I think we start with. I think that order was pretty good.
The Kurt Russell one, and that is name
Yeah,
that movie one more time.
Escape from LA.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to type that out for me so I remember it.
Escape from LA.
Let me write that down here.
Okay. All right. Uh, Wolfpack. I don't know if I want to
Yikes! I don't know if you want to say Wolfpack. You
Wolfpack. All
tried it.
right, whatever.
Well,
All right, Wolfpack.
yeah. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
Later.